to start with the Ghanaian Times?
Right. So on the Ghanaian Times, the big one here is ORC blacklists 2,812 churches and others to remove names from registers of company.
Yeah.
ECG busts 52 customers, recovers 750,000 Ghana cedis power theft. GRA deploys 5,000 TSOs to assist property ratepayers to register and pay. UK government stops recruitment of healthcare workers from Ghana and 53 other countries. Court remands trader accused of swindling police over $15,000.
Wow. Well, you know that the first story there.
Yes. The ORC?
Yes, the Office of the Registrar General. It's interesting. I mean, blacklisting
Churches.
means that, people, you're supposed to update your registration, and be in good standing. So even though there's a lot of leeway when it comes to, in terms of taxation and those kinds of things, this is not just churches, by the way. It's there are other NGOs and societies that fall under associations and societies that fall under this category. But I think it's important because what happens is that a lot of people take things for granted, and just assume that we are a church, we can do whatever we want.
And I've also realized that a lot of churches and NGOs, they fail to realize that it's also important for them to
be regularized within the society.
But because they're an NGO, that's why everybody just sits back and realize, they're not going to come to us. We are,
But I'm glad all our institutions are slowly, rising up and saying, listen, this is something we should have been doing. Let's do it. Let's make sure that everybody, is compliant. All right, we have the daily graphic here. Prioritize non-communicable diseases to achieve SDGs. We must entrench fiscal discipline. This is coming from Kweku Kouaten. And we have government throws weight behind ECG. This is in the revenue mobilization drive. Move is necessary for defraying debt-owed power generators. All right, and of course, you know that any sustainable system, those that provide must be paid. And then retrieve study leave money from lecturer. Public Accounts Committee directs Bolga Technical University. Okay. I'm not even going to touch that.
Okay, so on the Business Finder here, the big one here is inflation drops to 45%. Sign of improving economic situation. And Access Holdings invests $300 million into Access Bank PLC. Adjust prices to reflect improving economic situation. And that's by Dr. Joseph Obeng, the president of GUTA.
Right. Good. So the Chronicle has these headlines here. It says, teachers get 62 million Ghana cedi golden handshake from Education Ministry. I wonder how much it comes to per teacher. Because it sounds like a lot of money, but I mean, per teacher, it may not be that much. Well, anyway,
because there are so many teachers.
It's still a golden handshake. That's what the Chronicle is saying. NDC and MPP test Dampare's testicular fortitude. You know what that means, right? So it's like, will you arrest? Arrest him. Don't arrest him. What does that mean? Well, we'll see. Does he have the cojones to do what they want? But you see, again, the IGP is not at your beck and call to do whatever you want him to do. He has a mandate. He understands the law. He understands the space. And so he will also not be bullied into doing things just because some people want him to do, So, Anyway, battle over late Asonaba Dapa's funeral continues unabated. It is scripted today on the front page of the Chronicle. It says here, Proverbs 10, verse 22. The blessing of the Lord maketh rich, and he adds no sorrow to it. Okay. This is the teachers, I'm sure, is talking about the golden handshake.
I actually like the Chronicles.
Yeah, I know, right? You always have some nice scripture to go with it.
I'm telling you. So on the new crusading guide, the big one here is NPP petitions police to arrest Mahama and Asiedu Nketia over treasonable and incendiary comments. Arise and mobilize behind government in team to NPP members. I have never had Facebook and Twitter accounts. And that's by Kwesi Pratt. Election 2024. Ghanaians prefer Alan to Bahumia.
Interesting times ahead. Look, the political season, this one is just like the comedies of it.
I love the banter going on.
When the season really heats up, you watch towards the end of the year and then go into next year. It's going to be crazy. Anyway, a few online stories. CitiNewsroom.com. 21% of MPP supporters prefer Kenneth Japan to lead party. This is coming from Global Info Analytics. Okay. 21%. Okay. So that leaves...
So it's by a poll, basically?
Yeah, but it's one group's poll. And we need to know what details went into it, you know. Yeah, but then the 21%, does it mean some people evenly split the rest? If they do, then Ken is clearly ahead.
Yeah.
You know, but if it don't, and maybe somebody else has 0.5%, the other person takes some, 60-something% or whatever. Anyway, interesting times ahead. Ghana's 45% inflation is still high. We are not out of the woods yet. This is coming from lecturer Bokpin, Professor Bokpin. And then we also have Ghana's inclusion on UK's recruitment red list changes nothing. This is coming from the Ghana Medical Association.
All right. Okay. TEW to withdraw services over unpaid skills development allowance. And we also have my do or die comments was twisted, not meant to incite killings. And that's Mahama clarifying. Lastly here, Kumasi, 3 major construction works halted over debt reconstructing.
All right. So a couple more headlines here before we go for sports. We have MPP petition CID over insightful comments by Mahama and Asiedu Nketia. March inflation drops to 45%. For a few months now, we finally dropped below the 50% mark. Right. Supply disruptions caused fuel shortages. This is coming from Goyle, and 9 MPs in Washington, D.C. for $3 billion IMF bailout. And finally, Mahama says the next NDC government will complete all abandoned projects. He's been consistently talking about this as he's going around, the country, talking about the fact that we've always known this, right? That every government comes and they say, "Oh, this one, the other government. We want our own legacy, something that we will start and finish. And so forget this. Let's go and start something new." And so projects get abandoned across the country. Across the country, Meanwhile, it's taxpayers' money.
Right.
You see, and instead of having the wisdom to say, listen, you know something, at the end of the day, somebody starts, somebody finishes. And you see, even the Ghana agenda,
Thank you. I was going to say
somebody started. That person will never be the person to finish the Ghana agenda. How many years are we going to be around for? Maybe another 100 years, 200 years, I don't know, right? But however long the world will stay in existence, 1,000 years, whatever, somebody will be there at the end. So there has to be some kind of wisdom in our political leadership that says that if this one started,
I should,
we can finish it off and share the glory.
Exactly. For the greater good of Ghana.
For the greater good of Ghana. Someone starts, someone finishes.
Right.
Look, I've heard some arguments, even things like, yeah, but we procured all the money. And so, they say, oh, we started the project. Say, well, yeah, but you wouldn't have started the project if we hadn't organized the money and put it together for you. I mean, the most ridiculous arguments that politicians make, and you say, these are smart, intelligent, accomplished grown-ups. Why are you behaving like this? So anyway, I hope what he's saying, that they'll complete all abandoned projects. they will actually stick to it when, eventually
Right.
they find themselves at the helm of affairs. Okay, well, it's time for sports. Don't go anywhere. All right, sports is next. And today on sports, we have head coach for Ghana's senior women's national team, Nora Hoptel, has revealed that the team is still under construction despite the Black Queens' fine start under her tenure. The Queens recorded a slender 1-0 win over Teranga Lionesses of Senegal, courtesy an Evelyn Badu strike in the second encounter at the Accra Sports Stadium to give the team 3 wins in 3 games. Hoptel says that there's a lot of work to be done on the team if bigger successes are to be chalked moving forward. Now in the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals, Real Madrid beat Chelsea 2-0 on Wednesday in their quarter-final first leg played in Madrid. Now Karim Benzema and Marco Asensio got the goals for the home side ahead of the second leg in London next week. Now in other quarterfinals, the other quarterfinal was between AC Milan and Napoli at the San Siro in an all-Italian affair. Now AC Milan edged it 1-0 via a 40-minute goal from Algerian defender Ismail Banesser. Now the two teams meet again next week at the Stadio Diego Maradona. Now some UK PL news. Manchester United's Marcus Rashford will miss United's Europa League quarter-final on Thursday against Sevilla, and a few more games due to a muscle injury. However, is expected to return for the season running. The club has confirmed. Now, Rashford was substituted in the 80th minute on Saturday's 2-0 Premier League win over Everton at the Old Trafford, clutching his groin and immediately headed to the dressing room for treatment. United say the England international will be available for a few games, but is expected to be back for the season running. All right, so that's it for sports this morning.